Greetings everybody, Caddiedamus here with some highlights from the British Grand Prix. Let's get right into qualifying. We go in, this is my best lap that I did. Wasn't the best lap I could do, but it wasn't bad. Better than my first attempt, so right on board here while I do my hot lap. Because of the wet, really a lot of different gears than I would normally be in dry. Took some getting used to. I did not do much wet practice, so stuck with my dry setup, and thankfully it actually felt pretty good. Are calling for some rain for the race, so it should be a very interesting one. We haven't had many wet races in ours, so fortunately no DRS here, which that really sucks. But the corner, not bad. I was really being hesitant on it just because I didn't want to lose the back end and didn't want to cut any corners. Wanted to get a good lap in. I was up on my delta by a decent bit, so I figured I could improve my qualifying position, which, as you can see on the left, is 10th right now. And we'll see what happens here as we finish the lap. Fortunately, couldn't go flat out here. Actually, had to downshift, and really could have gone a lot better through there. But that corner is very tricky in the wet, I find. Really hard to find the proper gear. This is a fun section of the track. It was tough being wet. Really hesitant on the throttle. All in all, not my best lap, but a pretty good lap. And locked up a little bit in there. That wasn't my best, but had to let off throttle there. Started losing the back end, but was able to keep it in line. I like this section here. I felt really confident in this section. I usually didn't in past games, but this game I feel really good in this section. Could have been a little better in there, but still improved up to 6th place, so I'll take that. Now we'll skip ahead and get to the grid. So as you can see, we are supposed to get some rain here about halfway through this race, so I was really trying to decide if I want to stick with the soft tires or go to the super soft, and I decided to go with the super soft tires. I actually thought a lot of people might do this just because this game is very hit or miss. Sometimes it rains earlier, sometimes it rains later. I took a real roll of the dice here, starting on the super softs, just because I felt that it might rain earlier. It looked very cloudy, so when we get on the grid and I start noticing around me that everybody has soft tires on, and I appear to be the only one with the super softs. Made me a little nervous. I was really questioning my strategy at this point. I really thought I made the wrong choice, but as you'll see in a second, I think I made the right choice. This is probably my best start of the year right here. I felt really good about this. Boom, lights out, away we go. Right around Washy, which was unusual. I know he was sick, so probably would have gotten a better start if he was feeling good. But yeah, I felt really good about that start. Gained 2 positions right off the bat. Almost got in the back of Seika right there. That was close. Boniface running next to me there. He came across and I just had to let off the throttle a hair. Almost clipped my wing right there. That would have been disastrous. I don't know. Hopefully that didn't screw up anybody behind, but I'm more concerned about myself at that moment. So settling into the race here. We'll go through the first just couple laps here because I had a little bit of a better part. I felt like I could have made up a little more time here on these first 2 laps, especially being the only one on super soft tires. You know, I did gain those 2 positions right off the bat, but I really felt that I could have gained a couple more. I felt like I could have gotten up into 2nd here. I was a little hesitant. Honestly, I was more surprised I had gotten such a good start. It was my highest grid position since Australia to start, so that was nice. I've been having some real issues in qualifying, so it was nice to get off to a good start for once. As we approach the end of the first lap here, you can see, you know, I'm right there battling these guys. I'm not really battling them, but, you know, I'm right there waiting for an opportunity. Really felt good just going into that corner, especially on these tires. But just getting up on the back of them, and then I noticed that Washy must have got a heck of an exit. I think that's Washy behind me. Yep. And so really started, I was like, ooh, he's kind of picked up the pace, and then I ran a little wide there. I don't know exactly what happened to him, but you know, now I can get back up on these guys here. Seems like Washi's dropped off a little bit there. I don't know if he had an issue or I don't know. But anyway, now all of a sudden I notice I got a big gap behind me, so now I can kind of just focus on looking forward. Just really miss my braking point there pretty badly, and get a nice run out of this corner though, and in through this section. I feel like I got a pretty good run in through here, and just trying to find out what the weather's gonna do. Yeah. Once I heard that, I really felt that I made the right choice, that, you know, that rain was going to be coming sooner rather than later. And I cut the corner a little bit there. That made me, it was not my best effort there, but, you know. Anyway, got a really nice run here. DRS isn't active yet, but I throw it up in a rich mix, and I get a really nice run, kind of fake to the left, make him defend over there. Now I can get to the inside. Brake on my line. We tap tires just a little bit. Just a little racing incident, but I'm able to just pull ahead there. Does come back a little bit here. I thought he might be looking to the inside. I left a little room, but not much. And boom, job done. Into third place. Now I'm going to settle in. So I felt pretty good, you know. Now, you know, David Ben and Boniface up there, they had some good pace. I raced with them the other day, so now this is where it starts to get interesting. Skip ahead a little bit here, and you know, you can see it's raining. Really started to lose grip, and was really trying to decide what I wanted to do here, how much I wanted to push these tires. I was really waiting for my engineer to come in with a call saying, hey, let's go to these tires. McQuiz is behind me at this point, and you know, he won the last race. I know how fast of a racer he is, so yeah, you hear Jeff talking about the inters. I'm looking at my tires going through, and then all of a sudden he comes with the alternate strategy. This really starts getting me all messed up, because I'm just a mess right here. I'm trying to change strategies. I'm now off the track. I'm in the wrong gear, switching down. Now I know McQuiz is right up behind me, and I know this is not good. He's going to go by me. I know it, and then I go off the track, and boom, and he's by me. So I know this is the point right now. I need to pit. I really wasn't feeling good with the car. It really felt loose, and then, you know, as you can see, yep, I'm really hesitant into this corner. McQuiz right in front of me. I got a feeling he's going to pit too. We go in. I'm trying to brake. I'm locking up, and I just touch him. And I was really hoping that he had slowed down enough and that I wasn't giving him a penalty, like pushing him through speeding. I really wasn't trying to do that, and I apologize if you do see this video. I kind of was trying to get as close to you as I could, but then I kept locking up a little bit. Yeah, DRS disabled. So now I know, you know, this is the right call, getting held up a little bit. A new clutch system, I always struggle with that. So I'm hoping right now I can just kind of stay behind McQuiz. I know how fast he is, so I'm really just kind of hoping that I can hold pace with him more than anything. You know, I know I'm outside the podium position, but being wet and the rain only supposed to get harder, I figure, you know, you never know what can happen here. If I can just keep a decent pace. My setup did feel really good in the wet conditions, I have to say. You know, it's more of a dry setup, but it felt really pretty stable in the wet. You know, I had to be gentle with the throttle, but, you know, I'm about 2 seconds behind McQuiz here. I didn't get the best exit, and, you know, there he goes off into the distance. So I kind of figured that would be the last I saw of him, but now we skip ahead a little bit, and this really surprised me, because, you know, you can see Zek, he's been hanging about a second and a half behind me. I've been hanging about 2 to 3 seconds behind McQuiz, and Zek is pretty fast in the corners here. I think he's running a lot of downforce. So, and then all of a sudden I see McQuiz must have just got a tire on the curb or just a little early on the throttle, but he loses the back end and goes around, and that's a free position back up into third. So that felt pretty good. You know, now I was like, okay, if I can just keep doing what I'm doing, just kind of keep putting laps in, and you know, maybe I can do something. So we'll skip ahead a little bit here, and you know, we're still holding position. We still got Zek kind of hanging there. He's been holding that gap pretty consistent at about a second to a second and a half behind me. You know, sometimes it'll get to 2, sometimes it'll get a little closer, but I haven't been able to cut into Boniface at all up here, so I'm just, you know, kind of accepting where I'm at right now and just trying to hold pace. And then all of a sudden, after I look back up and I see a wild Boniface over to my left there, which, you know, again, just a gift position for me. I was very, very surprised. You can see the blue line because my engineer wanted me to pit, but the weather was supposed to get worse, so I really wanted to hang on with these inters for as long as I could and then just go to wets if it got to that point. And as you'll see coming up, it gets really very tricky as to what tire you wanted to be on. The inters felt okay, not great. It was really in a weird spot on the track as to how the tires felt. Some corners they felt pretty good, and then other spots it really just did not feel like you had much grip at all with them. And it was just a little too wet in spots. So as you see, I look back there, and all of a sudden I have a pretty big gap. Yeah, so now I'm just checking on the weather. I'm trying to get a good handle as to what's going to happen here with the weather, and I'm very indecisive as to what I want to do at this point. And if you look on the bottom right on my multifunction display, I've somehow accidentally got it over to soft tires. I'm not sure when I did that, but I at this point, I didn't notice that when I was actually racing. I was concentrating so hard, just trying not to screw up, because I had not run this high since the beginning of Australia, as long as you discount any times when I was running on alternate strategies and led for a lap or two. But I hadn't actually like been up near the front competing for a while, so since the first race. So anyway, I'm still debating what to do, and I kind of thought about going into the pit there, and I'm glad I didn't, because then it was at this point that I kind of looked down and I realized that I am not on the right tire. So now this is where things are really getting interesting, because I know Zek, I just felt he was a little bit faster than me, especially in the corners, especially as the track got wetter. Not that, you know, I believe he was using a pretty high wings because of the weather, and I just kind of stuck with my stock one, and I was really trying to decide what to do. I was wondering if I could make the tires last. I had all kinds of thoughts going through my head, and I'm very indecisive anyway, so this really did not help matters. I was doing math in my head if I could make the tires stretch all the way to the end, or if, you know, should I pit? If I do pit, what tires do I want to put on? I really didn't know at this point. It was very much a guessing game, but, you know, we're still plugging along here. Not really making too many mistakes. Now, I'm above 50% on some of my tire wear, and this is the point that I realized soft tires were on. I got really, really wide there. It's like, and oh, no, I can't go to the pit. You still have soft tires on. I can't do all that at once and slow down. And now I'm kind of all over the place. And this really let Zek close right up to me. Jeff gives me some nice encouraging words. Kind of fills me with confidence. I plug on, oh, and then I just go, no. Trying to do too many things at one time. So now at this point, I just know. I know he's going by me. I'm just trying to hold this position the best I can. That arrow's not quite red yet. I'm holding on, trying to get grip, leaving some room on the inside. I was actually really expecting him to make a move right there. I tried to leave him enough room, but now I've made up my mind. I have to pit. I can't stretch these tires anymore. I go a little wide. I expected him to go to the inside there when he didn't. That kind of shocked me, and then I ran wide on the exit. I had him to get by, and then he leaves a little bit of room, but I just do not have the grip on these tires. I mean, fair play to him. you know, it was a nice move, and you know, he did leave me the room. Like I said, I was just a little surprised. I get a nice run there, but then I have to let off the throttle, and yeah, I take the corner too wide. Just, you know, you get that understeer when you get way too close to somebody. It's that dirty air effect on this game. Really will mess you up if you're not careful. So I'm gonna hang back just a little bit here, because like I said, I'm gonna make my pit stop. I don't know what his plans are, but I think at this point, I thought he had to make another pit stop. I did not think anybody could make those inters last all the way to the end, especially if it got worse. And then I looked at the top and I saw that Boniface is on the wet, so I figured I wouldn't be the only guinea pig if I went in and went on the wet. So I felt I was making the right choice here. So I went in, dip into the pit lane, you know, a little slow on the entry, but you know, you don't want to get that speeding penalty. I'd rather go a little slow in than to get that 5-second penalty, because that would just not be good. But needless to say, we enter the pits here. And we are off. We are out of the pits. We have our wet tires on. We're still holding third place, so I feel really good coming out of the pits. I know Boniface has older tires than I do, so I feel pretty good. As long as I can just keep it clean, I felt pretty good here. So, you know, we're exiting the pits. We're on the wet tires, and skipping up here. Now, I've been about 26 to 29 seconds behind Zek, and I really did not know if he was going to pit. I really was like, holy cow, I don't think he's going to pit. But then all of a sudden, I look up and I see that he's on wet tires now. So I look on my map and I see he's going to be coming out of the pit right as I get there. So I am just on it. And I wish I had thought to put it up in the rich mix. I could have used just that little bit of extra. I had plenty of fuel. I was just so hesitant about spinning the tires, and there he is coming out. I let off the throttle just a little. I go wide, and in my haste, I forget to downshift. I forget to brake. I forget to do everything. And there he goes. But we had a nice, you know, fair play to him. You know, we had a nice little battle there earlier, and, you know, he left me all the room in the world. I just didn't take advantage of it. So, and I knew at this point that, you know, both for him and it was going to be our best finish of the year. And, you know, I didn't want to do anything to jeopardize that. So, you know, we'll just skip ahead and come on down to the last lap here. You know, I mean, I was sweating bullets at this point because I have not finished higher than, I believe, 7th. Maybe I finished 6th in a race. I don't know. But to get a podium, I was crapping myself here at this point. I'll be perfectly honest. I did not think I was going to be able to hold on and do it, but somehow, some way, just kept it clean, stayed out of trouble. I had 1 3-second penalty, 3 corner cuts. Actually, I think I might add 4 corner cuts, but actually I went about 18 laps between corner cuts. I had 2 early, and then it was a while before I got my penalty. So, you know, a few other people had penalties too. So, I tell you what, that felt awesome to cross that line in 3rd place. That was a very, very good feeling. And, you know, congrats to David, Ben for his first victory, and Zek for finishing 2nd. I was just absolutely thrilled with finishing 3rd, first podium of the year. Hopefully it continues forward. And, you know, we got a little break now, but we'll see what happens when we come back. Thanks for joining.